See? Everything's okay.
Welcome to Movie Review Monday. I'm Johnny O from The Plot Hole, and with me as always is the increasingly handsome J.L. Warren.
For the last time, Johnny, no, I will not go to the beach with you.
But... Today we're looking at the 2014 independent psychological horror thriller film, It Follows. Talk about a total mindfuck.
Don't provoke it.
Right. Here we find ourselves in suburban Detroit. It's peaceful, lovely What's this half-naked girl doing running with high heels? Don't you know that's how you twist some ankles? See? That bitch is dead.
It Follows stars Maika Monroe, Keir Gilchrist, Daniel Zavato, Jake Weary, Olivia Lucardi, and Lily Seppi. Released to critical acclaim, the film grossed over $20 million on just a $2 million budget. It Follows, only the second film from director David Robert Mitchell, is an absolute triumph of a horror film. Mitchell manages to create a world in which nothing is what it seems, expertly mirroring the uncertainty and emotional terror that often comes with our first steps into adulthood.
Here's the story of a lovely lady who meets a boy who just happens to be a bit rapey. Said boy, going by the alias Hugh, courts Jay, eventually getting her into the back of his car. After finishing, Hugh's Cosby side emerges as he chloroforms Jay. He puts the pudding in the jello pop. Jay comes to in an abandoned car park, and Hugh explains that he gave it to her. Hugh explains that impending doom was given to him after a previous sexual encounter. We find out later that Hugh, whose real name is Jeff, slept with Jay in order to keep from being stalked to death by the monster, and that Jay only has to sleep with someone else to put herself farther down the list. This seems like pertinent information that Hugh should have given Jay during his exposition earlier in the film. Seems like a good way to keep your name further down the list, too. The monster takes several different forms throughout the film, an excellent device. The camera shots of that hinting at the stalking predator keep the audience on edge as Jay attempts to thwart it. No, not that it. It follows. Keep up. After giving it to her neighbor hero, Greg, Jay stands guard watching her neighbor's house for any signs of death. When a late-night door dinger breaks a window and sneaks into Greg's house, Jay quickly runs to Greg's rescue, only to find that it is the same woman that she saw earlier in the car park. This is Greg's mother. She beats on Greg's door until he opens it, only to get fucked to death by a monster who looks like his mom. Talk about a mindfuck. It Follows definitely questions the dangers of sexuality and promiscuity. The whole STD allegory is beautifully interwoven through the film. Director David Robert Mitchell's use of suspense and impending dread, along with Carpenter-esque Who Goes There storytelling, makes It Follows one of the best independent horror thriller films to come out of the 2010s. The score of the film completely amplifies the overall feeling of dread and suspense.
Though dreamlike at its beginning, It Follows slow burns into the throes of a fever dream. Everything in the world that surrounds the characters is muted and suppressed, a shrewd tactic that forces the action to the forefront and keeps an iron grip on our attention. Even time itself feels uncertain as the film is littered with items like the vintage vehicles, black and white TV movies, the clamshell book reader, the wardrobes, music, and even the hairstyles. Each chosen to reinforce the notion that sexual attitudes and awareness are timeless in the anxiety and fear they create for young teens. The creature that pursues Jay throughout the film takes on many appearances, some innocuous, some graphically disturbing, and some utterly terrifying. The ever-growing presence of the unseen unstoppable force seeking to destroy her is as comparable to the march of time, that adulthood and all the fears that come with it will catch up to us sooner or later. Some of the excellent scenes that lend themselves to creating this sense of dread throughout the film are images like the old naked person standing on top of the roof staring at Jay, the eyeless tall man as he barrels into the room looking for her, the infamous beach scene in which all of her friends, accompanied to protect her, suddenly see the entity, well, the effects of the entity, because it's invisible to them. And of course, the epic showdown at the pool, in which the entity takes the form of a figure that truly terrifies Jay, so much so that she can't even say what it is. Drawing heavily from the works of Romero and Carpenter and the surreal suburban still photography of Gregory Crowdson, Mitchell creates a stunning and eerie parable open to wide interpretation. Whatever your takeaway from It Follows, be certain that it centers on the human fear of death, and that love and sex are two ways that we as a species attempt to keep it at bay.
The storytelling forces the viewer to put the pieces together subliminally. Excellent device. All the tracking shots that put the monster just out of focus or far off in the distance work beautifully to keep the viewer on the edge of his or her seat in suspense. It Follows. Watch it. I'm Johnny O from The Plot Hole. We do this every Monday with J.L. Warren. We're going to get Eugene on here soon. We'll see what movie we're going to do next. If you liked It Follows, give us one of these. Leave us a comment down there. Tell us what you liked about the film. Did you enjoy it? Did you not enjoy it? Let me know. Side note, if you want to get in on the action, join us every month for the Master Debaters Best in Series Horror Franchises Debates, where we take your favorite horror film franchises and pit each film against one another in a classic duo winner-take-all Best in Series. You can participate in the live chat and to find out how you can win some of these things that I've got behind my shoulder here. The next debate we have is going to be the Scream series, and it happens June 20th of 2020. Join us June 20th, Master Debaters Best in Series Scream Edition. That's all from me. JL, wrap her up.
Thanks so much for joining us. I'm JL, and we really hope you enjoyed the video. Be sure to check us out at Week in Horror Podcast, everywhere podcasts are hosted. Follow us on Facebook or Twitter, and even support us by contributing to the show's production at patreon.com/weekinhorror. And as always, stay scared.